Ladies, sit down because what I'm about to tell you will make you check your husband's laptop before this story ends. I'm Jake, and in over 2 decades of collecting revenge stories, this one proves that the most dangerous woman to betray is one who builds artificial intelligence for a living. Meet Dr. Maya Rodriguez, 32, a senior data scientist at Microsoft in Redmond, Washington. Maya had spent 9 years building machine learning algorithms that detect fraud for some of the world's largest banks. She specialized in behavioral pattern recognition. Essentially, she could predict when someone was lying based on their digital footprints. Maya earned $295,000 annually, held 8 patents in AI fraud detection, and managed a team of 12 engineers. She lived with her husband David Martinez and their 4-year-old daughter Luna in a beautiful house in Bellevue, complete with a tech-savvy smart home system that Maya had programmed herself. Maya thought her expertise in detecting deception made her immune to it in her personal life. She was catastrophically wrong. It started on a Tuesday evening in October when Maya was working late in her home office, debugging a critical machine learning model for detecting cryptocurrency fraud. David was supposedly on a conference call with investors about his marketing consulting business, a venture that had been almost profitable for 2 years. Maya's laptop had crashed during a system update, so she grabbed David's MacBook to finish her urgent deadline work. His password was Luna's birthday, 0192, because David claimed he was terrible with security stuff. What Maya found when she opened his browser would destroy her marriage and nearly ruin her life. Multiple Gmail tabs were open, including his personal account. A notification popped up from someone named Ashley Chen, with a subject line that made Maya's blood freeze. "Can't wait to divorce her and start our real life together, babe." Maya stared at those words like they were broken code that wouldn't compile. For several seconds, her analytical brain refused to process the emotional data. Then her professional training kicked in and she clicked on the email thread. What she found was 14 months of correspondence between David and Ashley Chen, a 29-year-old marketing manager at a Portland tech startup. The emails revealed not just an affair, but a sophisticated conspiracy to destroy Maya's career and steal everything she'd built. "The timing has to be perfect," David had written 2 weeks earlier. "Maya's so buried in her AI projects she doesn't notice anything else. She thinks I'm just struggling with my business, but I've been planning this exit strategy for over a year." Maya scrolled through months of messages, her hands steady despite the devastation. This wasn't just infidelity. This was systematic fraud orchestrated by her own husband. "You were right about tech wives," Ashley had replied. "They make bank, but they're emotionally clueless. Maya has no idea I've been researching her patents and stock options." Patents. Stock options. Maya realized with growing horror that this wasn't a romantic affair. It was a business arrangement designed to steal her intellectual property and Microsoft equity. The conspiracy went deeper. Ashley had been coaching David on how to document Maya as an unfit mother and workaholic wife to gain custody of Luna and claim the maximum asset split in divorce proceedings. "Start recording every late night she works, every business trip, every time she checks email during dinner," Ashley had advised. "Build a pattern of maternal neglect. Washington state courts favor fathers who can prove the mother prioritizes career over children." Maya felt physically sick. They weren't just planning to steal her money, they were planning to steal her daughter. She closed the laptop gently, her mind already shifting into the analytical mode that had made her one of Microsoft's most valuable employees. No trembling, no tears. Just the cold, logical thinking she'd perfected through years of detecting sophisticated financial crimes. David was still on his fake investor call in the next room, his voice carrying through the walls with the same enthusiastic tone he used when pitching potential clients. But now Maya knew the truth. He was coordinating with Ashley on their extraction timeline. Maya walked to the kitchen and made coffee with mechanical precision muscle memory from countless late nights coding taking over while her brain processed this data breach of her personal life. David's laptop password. Same password for everything because he was terrible with security. Ironic, considering he'd married someone whose literal job was cybersecurity and fraud detection. Maya opened her own laptop and did what she did best. Created a systematic approach to a complex problem. New folder, Project Liberation. Subfolder, Evidence Collection. Another subfolder, Financial Forensics. In data science, there's a fundamental principle. Let the data tell the story. David had provided plenty of data points. Time to connect the dots and see the complete picture. Algorithm for justice input betrayal. Process through logic. Output total systematic destruction. David didn't know it yet, but he'd just triggered an automated response system designed by someone who understood behavioral patterns better than anyone in the tech industry. This was about to become the most expensive mistake of his life. Maya spent the next 6 hours conducting the most thorough digital forensics investigation of her career. What she discovered made the original emails look like amateur hour. Using her professional penetration testing tools and social engineering techniques, Maya mapped David's entire digital footprint over the past 18 months. The pattern that emerged was so sophisticated it impressed her despite the personal devastation. David and Ashley hadn't just planned an affair, they'd architected a comprehensive wealth extraction scheme specifically targeting successful women in tech. Maya's investigation revealed that Ashley had previously executed similar operations against 2 other married tech executives in Portland and San Francisco. In both cases, the men had divorced their wives, liquidated significant assets, and relocated with Ashley, only to find themselves financially destroyed within a year when Ashley disappeared with the money and intellectual property. "She's a serial predator," Maya whispered as she reviewed bank records and legal filings. "And David is just her latest mark." But David wasn't entirely innocent. Maya's deep dive into his digital activities showed he'd been actively researching her patents, stock options, and professional network. He'd even attended Microsoft partner events under false pretenses, gathering intelligence about Maya's work and its commercial value. Their plan was elegant in its calculated cruelty. Phase 1. David would document Maya as an absent mother and workaholic wife, building legal justification for custody and asset claims. Phase 2. Ashley would establish a competing consulting firm ready to commercialize Maya's stolen intellectual property. Phase 3. David would file for divorce, demanding 50% of Maya's Microsoft equity patent royalties and primary custody of Luna. Phase 4. David and Ashley would disappear to Austin, Texas, where Ashley had already secured office space for their new AI consulting firm built on Maya's stolen work. Maya found email threads where David discussed the tech wife playbook with Ashley. These women are brilliant at algorithms but clueless about human manipulation. They trust their husbands completely because they're too busy optimizing systems to notice their personal lives being hacked. Maya makes $300K, but she has no idea I've been planning her replacement for over a year. The betrayal cut deeper when Maya discovered David's Google search history. How to prove wife is unfit mother Washington State. Tech industry divorce asset splitting precedents. Can I claim ownership of spouse's patents? Custody laws for high-earning mothers. How to hide assets before divorce filing. David had been systematically researching how to destroy Maya's life while she worked 60-hour weeks to support their family. But the discovery that truly broke Maya's heart was finding Ashley's detailed psychological profile of Luna. Ashley had been studying Luna's personality interests and behavioral patterns to help David build a stronger custody case. She'd even suggested activities David should do with Luna to demonstrate involved fatherhood. Activities he'd never done before. The kid is obviously gifted like her mother, Ashley had written. She'll be valuable for patent development in 10-15 years. Make sure the custody agreement includes decision-making authority over her education and career development. They were planning to use Luna as an intellectual property asset. Maya realized she wasn't just dealing with infidelity or even financial fraud. This was a coordinated attack on everything she'd built her career, her finances, her relationship with her daughter, and her future earning potential. David and Ashley had declared war on her existence. Time to show them what happens when you attack someone trained in advanced cyber warfare. Maya expanded her investigation, using the same methodologies she employed for Microsoft's most sensitive corporate espionage cases. What she uncovered over the next week revealed a criminal enterprise that went far beyond her marriage. Ashley's background deep dive. Using professional social engineering techniques, Maya penetrated Ashley's digital life completely. What she found was a pattern of serial relationship fraud dating back 5 years. Ashley Chen wasn't even her real name. She was actually Amanda Christine Watson, originally from Cleveland, Ohio. She'd been using false identities to target successful men in the tech industry across multiple states. Previous victims. 1. Robert Kim, 2019-2020, senior engineer at Intel Portland. Ashley convinced him to divorce his wife and liquidate $400,000 in stock options to fund their joint venture. She disappeared after 8 months with all the money. 2. 3. Michael Torres, 2020-2021, principal architect at Salesforce San Francisco. Ashley helped him steal proprietary customer data which they planned to sell to competitors. When the FBI investigation started, Ashley vanished, leaving Michael to face federal charges alone. 4. 5. James Liu, 2021-2022, VP of Engineering at a Seattle startup. Ashley convinced him to embezzle company funds to invest in cryptocurrency. She controlled the wallet keys and disappeared with $650,000 when the market peaked. 6. David wasn't Ashley's first mark. He was victim number 4 in a sophisticated fraud operation. Corporate espionage discovery. Maya's network analysis revealed that Ashley had been systematically infiltrating tech companies to identify high-value targets. She would get hired at startups specifically to access employee information and identify married executives with significant assets. Ashley's LinkedIn showed a pattern. She'd worked at 6 different companies in 3 years, always in marketing roles that gave her access to employee data and compensation information. David's financial crimes. Maya's forensic accounting analysis uncovered that David had been stealing from their family for months. Microsoft stock options. David had accessed Maya's account and liquidated $85,000 in vested stock without her knowledge. Joint savings, $43,000 transferred to an account Maya didn't recognize. Luna's college fund, $28,000 withdrawn for family emergencies that never existed. Credit cards, $31,000 in charges for Ashley's expenses disguised as business costs. Total theft, $187,000 over 8 months. The Austin Plan. Maya hacked into Ashley's email and discovered the complete relocation strategy. Ashley had already leased office space in Austin under a shell company name, filed paperwork to establish Rodriguez Analytics using Maya's maiden name without permission, prepared marketing materials, advertising AI consulting services based on Maya's patented algorithms, contacted 3 of Maya's former Microsoft colleagues, attempting to recruit them for the stolen company. They weren't just planning to leave Maya, They were planning to steal her professional reputation and client relationships. The custody conspiracy. The most chilling discovery came from David's hidden camera recordings. For 3 months, he'd been secretly filming Maya during work calls, documenting every late night and weekend she spent on Microsoft projects. He'd compiled over 40 hours of footage designed to portray Maya as a neglectful mother who prioritized work over Luna. The videos were edited to remove context, cutting out moments where Maya played with Luna or helped with homework, focusing only on times she was working. David had also been coaching Luna to say specific things on camera. "Mommy's always on her computer. Mommy misses my bedtime for work. I wish Mommy played with me more." He was manipulating their 4-year-old daughter to build his custody case. Financial warfare discovery. Maya found evidence that Ashley had been researching Maya's complete financial profile, including Microsoft compensation structure and stock vesting schedule, patent licensing agreements and royalty projections, 401k and retirement account balances, real estate equity and mortgage details, Luna's trust fund and education savings. Ashley had calculated Maya's total net worth at $1.7 million with projected lifetime earnings of $15+ million. This wasn't about love, it was about money. The timeline acceleration. Maya discovered that David and Ashley were accelerating their plan due to Maya's upcoming promotion. Microsoft had offered her a principal engineer position with a $450,000 salary and significant equity grants. "We need to move before the promotion goes through," Ashley had written. "Once she's a principal, her legal resources and industry connections will make this much harder." They were planning to file for divorce the following week before Maya could secure her promotion and the financial protection it would provide. Maya had discovered their timeline. Now she needed to build her counterstrike faster than they could execute their attack. Time to deploy everything she'd learned about defeating sophisticated cyber attacks against her own family. Maya approached the counteroffensive like she would architect a critical system security response, methodical, documented, and with zero tolerance for failure. She had 1 week before David planned to file for divorce and destroy her life. Phase 1. Legal infrastructure. Maya contacted Elena Rodriguez, Seattle's most feared family law attorney. Elena had built her reputation dismantling deceptive spouses and high-asset tech divorces, with a particular specialty in intellectual property theft cases. "This evidence package is extraordinary," Elena said, reviewing Maya's documentation. "Comprehensive digital forensics, clear proof of financial fraud, concrete evidence of conspiracy and child manipulation. Your husband and his accomplice will lose everything: custody, assets, reputation, and potentially their freedom." Maya retained Elena immediately. The $50,000 retainer was expensive, but worth every penny for someone who treated divorce like a military campaign. Phase 2. Financial fortress construction. Maya restructured their family's financial architecture to protect Luna's future and her own assets from David's continued theft. She opened separate accounts at different banks and transferred her individual assets, stock options vested before marriage, patent royalties, and inheritance from her grandmother, into accounts David couldn't access. Maya's next Microsoft stock vest was scheduled for the following month, $127,000. She redirected the entire amount into a trust fund for Luna's education, legally protected from divorce proceedings. She documented every transfer with full legal justification. Maya wasn't hiding assets. She was protecting them from a spouse actively committing fraud. Phase 3. Career acceleration strategy. Maya contacted former colleagues about new opportunities outside Microsoft. The responses were immediate and lucrative. Google Principal Engineer, $420,000 base, plus equity. Amazon Senior Principal Engineer, $445,000 plus stock grants. Apple staff engineer, $390,000 plus, significant patent bonuses. Meta research scientist, $425,000 plus. Equity. Maya accepted Google's offer with a start date contingent on completing her Microsoft projects. The role would relocate her to Google's Seattle office, meaning Luna could stay in the same school and neighborhood. Phase 4. Evidence multiplication. Maya installed advanced monitoring software on their home network router. Completely legal since she owned the hardware and internet service. Everything David and Ashley did online from their house was now being logged automatically in forensic detail. The new evidence was devastating. Ashley was using their Wi-Fi to research offshore banking options for hiding stolen assets. David was coordinating with Ashley's previous victims to share strategies for avoiding criminal prosecution. Most damning, Ashley was pregnant with David's child due in 7 months. They weren't just leaving Maya, they were replacing her and Luna entirely. Phase 5. Psychological operations. Maya began a subtle destabilization campaign designed to make David paranoid and sloppy. She left printed articles about corporate fraud prosecutions in tech on the kitchen counter. She casually mentioned that a Microsoft colleague heard about an executive getting arrested for embezzlement. Maya watched David's anxiety increase daily. He started wondering if Maya suspected something. She maintained perfect innocence while documenting his increasingly erratic behavior. At the same time, Maya performed the role of perfect wife. She cooked elaborate dinners, planned romantic date nights, and acted genuinely interested in David's fake business projects. "You've been working so hard on the consulting business," Maya said sweetly. "Maybe we should plan a family vacation to celebrate." "Soon, honey," David replied nervously. "Just need to close this big client deal first." The client didn't exist. David was living in a complete fantasy while Maya gathered evidence of his delusional state. Phase 6. Child Protection Protocol. Maya began preparing Luna for the inevitable family changes without traumatizing her. They had age-appropriate conversations. Sometimes families change shape, but Mommy's love never changes. No matter what happens, you'll always be safe with Mommy. Maya documented every interaction between David and Luna, building an airtight record that proved she was the primary caregiver while David became increasingly detached from actual parenting. Video evidence showed David skipping Luna's bedtime stories to take business calls with Ashley. Audio recordings captured him missing school events for fake client meetings. Phase 7. Corporate Sabotage Preparation. Maya researched David's consulting business registration and discovered multiple legal violations. Operating without proper business licenses. Tax evasion on consulting income. Fraudulent expense reporting on their joint tax returns. Trademark infringement using Maya's patented algorithm names. She prepared comprehensive reports for the IRS Washington State Department of Revenue and the USPTO Patent Office. All ready to be filed the moment David made his move. Phase 8. Ashley's background exposure. Maya created detailed dossiers on Ashley's previous fraud victims and contacted them directly using secure communication channels. All 3 men were willing to testify about Ashley's pattern of relationship fraud and financial theft. 2 had been cooperating with FBI investigations into Ashley's criminal enterprise. Maya coordinated with federal agents already tracking Ashley's interstate fraud activities. They were building a RICO case against Ashley's entire operation. Phase 9. Media Strategy Development. Maya prepared a comprehensive media package documenting the entire conspiracy, ready for strategic release if David attempted to damage her professional reputation. Tech industry publications would be very interested in a story about relationship fraud targeting successful women engineers. Maya's documentation was thorough enough to support investigative journalism that would destroy both David and Ashley professionally. Phase 10. The trap configuration. Maya's final preparation was psychological. She needed David to believe he was winning right up until the moment of total system failure. She began acting slightly more distant and work-focused, giving David confidence that his neglectful wife narrative was accurate. She complained about work stress and mentioned feeling disconnected from family life. David interpreted this as confirmation that his strategy was working. Maya was supposedly becoming the workaholic wife he needed her to be for his custody case. In reality, Maya was giving David exactly enough rope to hang himself completely. 7 days of preparation. Every angle covered, every contingency planned. David believed he was orchestrating a flawless betrayal. Reality, he was walking directly into a trap engineered by someone who builds intelligent systems for a living. Ashley believed she was manipulating another naive tech wife. Reality, she was about to face someone who could predict her next 10 moves using behavioral analysis algorithms. The optimal strategy in information warfare is to let your opponents believe they're winning until the moment of total systemic collapse. Time for the execution phase. The trigger came when Maya discovered David's resignation letter draft in his Google Drive, scheduled to be sent to his consulting clients the following Monday. Effective immediately, I'll be transitioning to an exciting new opportunity in Austin, Texas, that better aligns with my career goals and personal values. Personal values, like fraud, adultery, and child abandonment. That same evening, Ashley posted an Instagram story, "New chapter starting soon," with a background photo of keys to their Austin apartment. They were accelerating their timeline. Maya accelerated hers. Friday evening, 7:00 p.m., the final performance. David arrived home with flowers. Guilt flowers, the kind he always brought before major betrayals. "Thought my brilliant wife deserved something special," he said, kissing Maya's cheek with practiced affection. "How thoughtful," Maya replied discreetly, adding sleep medication to his wine. "Let's celebrate whatever secret you're planning to tell me soon." David laughed nervously and drank the entire glass, not realizing he'd just consumed enough sedative to ensure 8 hours of unconsciousness. 8:30 p.m. Total system penetration. Once David was unconscious, Maya bypassed all his physical security and accessed every device he owned. She copied everything to encrypted drives. Every message, every photo, every document related to the conspiracy. Then, using David's phone, she crafted a text to Ashley. "I can't wait anymore. I'm telling Maya everything tonight. Meet me at the apartment tomorrow morning. We'll finally start our life together." Maya sent the message, then deleted it from David's phone. Ashley would receive the message, but David would have no record of sending it. The confusion would force mistakes and break trust between them. 9:00 p.m. Corporate warfare. Initiation. Maya logged into David's business email and sent detailed fraud reports to every relevant authority. To IRS Criminal Investigation Division subject, tax fraud report. David Martinez consulting attachment. 73-page evidence package. Please investigate the attached documentation of systematic tax evasion, unreported income, and fraudulent business expense claims by David Martinez. To Washington State Department of Revenue, subject business license. Violation report, attachment legal analysis, and evidence. David Martinez has been operating consulting services without proper state licensing and has evaded state tax obligations. To USPTO Patent Office, subject intellectual property theft report. Attachment patent infringement documentation. David Martinez and Ashley Chen have been illegally commercializing patented algorithms owned by Maya Rodriguez. Every regulatory agency would begin investigations simultaneously. 9:30 p.m. Psychological warfare deployment. From David's Facebook account, Maya posted a status designed to create maximum chaos. So grateful for my wife Maya and daughter Luna. They are my everything. Some people try to destroy families, but true love always wins. Family first. Loyalty. Shanger real love. She tagged Ashley and all of David's family members. The post was calculated to make Ashley panic, to make her believe David was backing out of their plan. It would force desperate, sloppy decisions. 10 Husher Dealers PM Financial Counterstrike. Maya transferred the remaining joint assets, $52,000, into Luna's education trust fund. Legal justification protecting the child's welfare from a spouse committing active financial fraud. She updated all insurance policies to name Luna as sole beneficiary and removed David from every account where she had legal authority. 11:00 p.m. Federal Law Enforcement Activation. Maya submitted the complete evidence package to the FBI's Financial Crimes Division requesting investigation into interstate fraud conspiracy, wire fraud, identity theft, computer crimes, racketeering, RICO violations. She formally requested protection for her family as potential witnesses in a federal criminal case. Saturday morning, 6 hours a.m. system failure. Cascade. David woke up with a massive hangover and a phone exploding with notifications. Wave 1 Ashley, calling frantically about the Facebook post. What the hell is wrong with you? You said you were leaving her. That post makes me look like a homewrecker. My reputation is destroyed. Wave 2. His consulting clients canceling contracts after receiving his premature resignation email. Wave 3. IRS agents calling to schedule an urgent interview regarding potential criminal tax violations. Wave 4. Patent attorneys demanding he cease and desist all use of Maya's intellectual property. Wave 5. The FBI requesting a voluntary interview about interstate fraud allegations. David stumbled into the kitchen staring at his phone in complete bewilderment. Maya, what's happening? He asked, his voice shaking. You tell me, Maya said calmly, placing a printed evidence folder on the counter. Looks like your exciting new chapter just began. David flipped through the pages. Every secret exposed, every lie documented, every theft proven. How did you, he started. I build fraud detection systems for Fortune 500 companies, Maya interrupted. You really thought I wouldn't detect fraud in my own home? Ashley called again. David answered on speaker, too panicked to think clearly. You bastard corporate lawyers just served me with papers. They're investigating my entire work history. You promised this would be clean. Ashley, I don't understand what's happening. I'm done with you, she screamed. Find another idiot to fund your pathetic life. The line went dead. Maya looked at David with calm satisfaction. Sounds like Ashley handles crisis well. True love conquers all right. It was in that moment David realized Ashley had never loved him. She'd used him for money and intellectual property theft. Now that her criminal enterprise was exposed, she was abandoning him to protect herself. Maya, please, David begged. I made mistakes, huge mistakes, but we can fix this. I'll do anything. You're absolutely right, Maya replied. You will do anything I say. She slid divorce papers across the table, Elena Rodriguez's masterpiece of legal warfare. Sign these, accept all the terms, move out today. This is insane. You can't take everything. I'm not taking anything that belongs to you, Maya said calmly. I'm keeping what belongs to Luna and me. You forfeited your rights the moment you used our family's money to fund your affair. David's phone rang again. FBI Special Agent Sarah Chen. Mr. Martinez, we need to discuss your involvement in an interstate fraud conspiracy. Can you come in for questioning today? David looked at Maya in desperate terror. They think I'm a criminal. You are a criminal? Maya said matter-of-factly. You stole $187,000 from your family and conspired to steal intellectual property worth millions. I could go to prison. You should have thought of that before you decided to destroy your family. Game over. System crashed exactly as designed. Target eliminated. Mission accomplished. The aftermath unfolded with the precision of Maya's best-coded algorithms, every module executing exactly as programmed. Corporate annihilation. 48 hours. Later, David's consulting business collapsed overnight. The IRS criminal investigation triggered automatic audits of all his business partners and clients. 3 clients discovered they'd been paying for services that were never legally delivered. 2 others found evidence that David had been billing them for work actually performed by Maya using her Microsoft resources. The Washington State Department of Revenue hit David with $47,000 in back taxes, penalties, and interest. His business assets were immediately seized. Ashley wasn't spared the corporate destruction. Her employer, Cascade Marketing Solutions, fired her after discovering she'd been using company resources to research private individuals for criminal targeting. Worse, Ashley's LinkedIn profile became toxic. Maya had strategically leaked Ashley's real identity and criminal history to tech industry, Slack groups, and professional networks. Amanda Watson is a serial relationship fraudster targeting tech executives. Do not hire. The warning spread through the industry faster than a security vulnerability alert. Legal proceedings. Week 1, David's attorney reviewed the evidence package Elena Rodriguez had assembled. His recommendation was brutal. Settle immediately. If this goes to trial, you're not just losing custody and assets. You're going to federal prison for fraud conspiracy. Your wife's evidence meets federal wire fraud prosecution standards. David signed the divorce agreement without modification. Maya retained the house and all marital assets. Full legal and physical custody of Luna. David was granted supervised visitation twice monthly, pending psychological evaluation. Child support payments of $3,200 monthly, from whatever employment David could secure with his destroyed reputation. David was permanently prohibited from using Maya's name patents or intellectual property for any commercial purpose. Financial recovery, Week 2. A forensic accountant traced David's stolen funds through Ashley's complex money laundering operation. They recovered 91% of the misappropriated assets through asset seizure and criminal restitution orders. Ashley's $180,000 down payment on the Austin apartment was forfeited when her fraud conviction made her ineligible for the lease. She lost the entire amount and faced additional civil liability. Federal criminal case, Month 1. The FBI's investigation expanded rapidly. Ashley's phone and laptop revealed evidence of fraud operations across 7 states, targeting 43 individuals for a total of $3.7 million in theft. Ashley was indicted onto 15 counts of wire fraud, 8 counts of identity theft, 6 counts of computer fraud, RICO conspiracy charges. David was charged as a co-conspirator in the most recent fraud schemes, facing potential sentences of 8 to 12 years in federal prison. Ashley took a plea deal, 6 years in federal prison plus full restitution to victims. She testified against David and other co-conspirators in exchange for the reduced sentence. David, faced with overwhelming evidence, accepted a plea agreement, 3 years in federal prison, 5 years probation, and $340,000 in restitution payments. Career devastation, Month 2. David's criminal conviction made him unemployable in any professional capacity. Background checks blocked him from corporate jobs, consulting work, and even retail management positions. After release from federal prison, David found work at a call center making $14 per hour, approximately 95% less than his previous income. Ashley was deported to the Philippines after serving her sentence permanently barred from returning to the United States. Personal Reconstruction, Month 3. Maya started at Google as a principal engineer with a compensation package worth $467,000 annually, including stock grants. Luna adjusted to single-parent life better than anyone expected. "Where's Daddy?" she asked once during the early weeks. "Daddy made choices that hurt our family," Maya answered gently. "But Mommy is here always, and nothing will change that." Luna nodded and returned to building Lego robots. Children need stability and truth, not fantasy. Maya provided both. Social Consequences. Month 6. David's story became a cautionary tale in Seattle's tech community. "Remember what happened to David Martinez" became shorthand for "Don't underestimate a woman who understands systems." Maya's professional reputation was enhanced rather than damaged. Her colleagues viewed her response as brilliant strategic thinking under extreme personal pressure. Dating carefully came into Maya's life 8 months later. Seattle's tech scene included many intelligent, emotionally mature men who found Maya's expertise in fraud detection oddly attractive, especially given modern dating app risks. None pressured her for commitment. After David, Maya understood that partnership should enhance your life, not consume or control it. Custody Reality, Year 1. David's supervised visits with Luna occurred twice monthly at a family court facility. He tried to perform fatherhood during these sessions, but it felt artificial to Luna. "Daddy seems different," she told Maya after one visit. "He talks like he's reading from a book." David had lost the natural connection with Luna that comes from daily caregiving. Prison had made him a stranger to his own daughter. Maya ensured Luna understood this wasn't her fault. "Daddy's learning what happens when people make choices that hurt others. That's called consequences, but you are loved completely always." Desperate communications, ongoing. Every few months, David sends variations of the same message from prison. "Please forgive me. I've changed completely. Luna deserves both parents. I was manipulated by Ashley. Can we start over?" Maya never responds. Her systems remain secure. No new breach attempts detected. Firewall intact. Financial optimization, Year 2. Maya's Google stock options vested $127,000. Luna's education fund grew to $340,000. Maya purchased a larger house in Redmond with mountain views and a dedicated home office. Luna had her own playroom and coding station where she built simple games with her mother. "When I grow up, I want to build robots that help people," Luna announced one evening. "You can build anything you want," Maya replied. "Mommy will teach you." Professional Advancement, Year 3. Maya was promoted to senior principal engineer at Google, leading machine learning initiatives for financial fraud prevention. Her innovations helped protect millions of users from scams and identity theft. Her patent portfolio expanded to 15 innovations in behavioral deception detection. Annual compensation reached $520,000. Maya's TED Talk, When Your Personal Life Gets Hacked. A technical approach to relationship fraud has been viewed over 1.2 million times. System optimization complete. 3 years after discovering David's betrayal, Maya and Luna have built a secure, optimized life. Luna thrives in school, showing advanced aptitude in mathematics and logical thinking. She builds simple robots and debugs code alongside her mother. Maya's career has reached new heights of technical leadership and financial success. Her work protecting others from fraud feels deeply meaningful after surviving it personally. The optimal revenge was never anger or hatred. It was complete systematic analysis, strategic countermeasures, and building a better life from the wreckage of the previous system. Status fully optimized. Performance exceeding all expectations. 5 years after that Tuesday night discovery, Maya stood before an audience of 800 women at the Grace Hopper Celebration of Women in Computing, delivering the keynote address that would define her legacy. Ladies, I want to tell you about the night my husband's laptop showed me love notes to his mistress. Maya began, her voice carrying clearly through the packed auditorium. The audience was immediately captivated. This wasn't the usual technical presentation about machine learning algorithms. This was personal. For 9 years of marriage, I'd been building AI systems to detect fraud for Fortune 500 companies. I could predict criminal behavior from data patterns. I could identify deception in financial transactions. But I never thought to apply those same analytical techniques to my own home. Maya clicked to the next slide, showing her current title, Senior Vice President of AI Ethics, Google Research. My husband and his mistress planned to steal my intellectual property, manipulate our daughter, and destroy my career. They used sophisticated psychological manipulation and financial fraud. What they didn't calculate was that they were targeting someone who builds intelligent systems for a living. The applause was thunderous. Maya continued with the confidence of someone who had transformed personal trauma into professional triumph. For the next hour, I'm going to walk you through the most complex debugging process of my career. Debugging my own life when I discovered it had been hacked by the people closest to me. Maya's presentation became legendary in tech circles. She detailed her systematic approach to uncovering the conspiracy protecting her assets and dismantling her adversaries using the same methodologies she'd developed for corporate fraud detection. The key insight, Maya explained, was recognizing that relationship fraud follows the same behavioral patterns as financial fraud. Once I started treating my personal life like a cybersecurity incident, the solution became clear. After her presentation, Maya was approached by hundreds of women sharing similar stories of family financial abuse, partner manipulation, and professional sabotage. "Your story saved my career," said Dr. Jennifer Park, a software architect from Austin. "My ex-husband was trying to steal my startup's IP through our divorce. I used your systematic approach to expose his scheme and protect my company. You inspired me to investigate my own family," added Sarah Williams, a data scientist from Portland. "I discovered my brother had been using my identity to secure business loans. Without your framework, I never would have thought to look." That evening, Maya had dinner with Luna, now 9 years old, and already showing remarkable analytical thinking skills. "Mommy, why do people try to hurt others for money?" Luna asked, having overheard conversations about Maya's presentation. "Because they haven't learned that building something valuable takes more work than stealing it," Maya replied. "But stealing always gets caught eventually, especially by people like us who understand systems." "Like Daddy," Maya nodded. "Like Daddy. He thought he could outsmart a system builder. That was his biggest mistake." Maya's story had created ripple effects throughout the tech industry and beyond. Her systematic approach to relationship fraud detection had evolved into something much larger: the Maya Protocol. Based on her experience, Maya had developed a framework called the Maya Protocol, a systematic methodology for detecting and responding to personal relationship fraud. The protocol included 1. Digital forensics for personal life. Using professional cybersecurity tools to audit family members' digital behavior. 2. Financial pattern analysis. Applying fraud detection algorithms to household finances. 3. Behavioral baseline monitoring, tracking changes in family members' patterns that might indicate deception. 4. Evidence documentation. Systems creating legally admissible records of suspicious activities. 5. Strategic response planning. Developing countermeasures based on game theory and systems thinking, Maya had published the protocol as an open-source framework freely available to anyone dealing with family financial abuse or relationship fraud. The foundation, Maya established the Rodriguez Foundation for Financial Relationship Safety, funded by her Google stock options and patent royalties. The foundation provided resources for legal assistance for victims of family financial fraud, technical training for lawyers handling tech industry divorces, educational programs teaching women to protect their intellectual property and assets, research into behavioral patterns of relationship fraud. The foundation had helped over 200 women protect themselves from various forms of family financial abuse. Corporate policy changes. Maya's experience had influenced corporate policies across the tech industry. Major companies now included family financial security in their employee assistance programs, recognizing that personal financial fraud could compromise corporate security. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and Apple all implemented programs to help employees detect and respond to family members attempting to steal intellectual property or manipulate stock options. Academic recognition, Stanford Business School added Maya's case to their curriculum as a study in applied behavioral economics and strategic response to personal threats. Her paper, Applying Fraud Detection Algorithms to Personal Relationship Security, became one of the most cited works in the intersection of computer science and family law. Media impact. Maya's story had been featured in major publications. Harvard Business Review, When Home Becomes a Cybersecurity Threat. Wired Magazine, The AI Engineer Who Debugged Her Marriage. Forbes, How One Woman Used Machine Learning to Defeat Relationship Fraud. MIT Technology Review, Personal Data Security in the Age of Family Hacking. 6 years after the divorce, Maya received an unexpected call that would test everything she'd built. Maya, this is David. Her ex-husband's voice was older, more broken than she remembered. He'd been released from federal prison 3 months earlier. I have a blocked caller protocol for a reason, David. Please don't hang up. I need to tell you something about Luna. Maya's protective instincts activated immediately. What about Luna? She's been asking about me, about why I'm not in her life. I know I don't deserve anything, but could we meet just once? I want to explain to her what happened, take responsibility for my choices. Maya was silent for a long moment, processing this request through her analytical framework. David's behavioral pattern had always included manipulation through Luna's emotions. David, Luna, is 10 years old. She understands that you made choices that hurt our family. She doesn't need more confusion in her life. I'm not asking to be her father again. I know I lost that right. I want her to know that her father was a bad person who made terrible decisions, not that she has bad DNA, or that she's destined to hurt people. This caught Maya off guard. The request showed a level of self-awareness David had never demonstrated before. Prison changed me, David continued. I had 3 years to understand what I did to you, to Luna, to myself. I don't want forgiveness. I know I don't deserve it. I just want Luna to know the truth about responsibility and consequences. Maya considered the request carefully. Luna had been asking more questions about David lately, wondering why some friends had fathers in their lives while hers didn't. One meeting, Maya said finally. Supervised at the family court facility. You get 30 minutes to explain your choices and their consequences. If you try to manipulate her emotions or make excuses, the meeting ends. Thank you, Maya. I know I don't deserve this chance. You're right, you don't. This is for Luna, not for you. 2 weeks later, Maya sat in the family court observation room, watching through one-way glass as David met with Luna for the first time in 3 years. David looked older, thinner, more humble than she'd ever seen him. Luna was polite, but distant, clearly uncomfortable. "Luna, I want you to know something very important," David began. "The reason I'm not in your life anymore isn't because you did anything wrong. It's because I made very bad choices that hurt you and Mommy." "What kind of choices?" Luna asked, her analytical mind already working on the problem. "I lied to Mommy. I stole money from our family. I planned to take you away from her and hurt her career. I worked with a bad person who taught me how to be cruel to people I was supposed to love." Luna listened, carefully processing this information like a debugging session. "Why did you do those things?" David paused, searching for age-appropriate honesty. "Because I was jealous of Mommy's success and I was too lazy to build my own. Instead of working hard like she did, I tried to steal what she built. That made me a criminal." "Are you still a criminal?" "I went to prison to pay for my crimes. Now, I'm trying to learn how to be a better person. But Luna, I want you to understand something. Your Mommy stopped me because she's incredibly smart and strong. She protected you and herself using her skills and intelligence. Mommy says you underestimated a woman who builds systems." David smiled sadly. "Your Mommy is exactly right. I thought I was smarter than someone who designs artificial intelligence for a living. That was the stupidest mistake anyone could make." Luna nodded, filing this information in her mental database. "Will you try to hurt us again?" "No, Luna, never. And even if I wanted to, your Mommy has built protections that would stop me immediately. She's the smartest person I know, and she loves you more than anything in the world." After the meeting, Luna was quiet during the drive home. "What are you thinking about?" Maya asked. "Daddy seems different. Smaller," Luna observed. "And sad. People face consequences for their choices. Sometimes those consequences change them." "Do you think he learned his lesson?" Maya considered this carefully. "I think he understands his mistakes now, but understanding and changing are different things. The important thing is that we're safe and strong no matter what anyone else does." "Mommy, yes, I'm glad you're smarter than the criminals." Maya smiled. "Me too, sweetheart. Me too." 10 years after discovering David's betrayal, Maya stood in her corner office on the 47th floor of Google's Seattle headquarters, looking out at the Puget Sound. As Senior Vice President of AI Ethics and Safety, she led a team of 200 engineers working to protect billions of users from fraud, manipulation, and abuse. Luna, now 14, was already taking advanced computer science courses and had built her first machine learning model, a system to detect cyberbullying in school chat rooms. "Mom, I've been thinking about Dad's case," Luna said one evening while they worked on code together. "What about it?" From a systems perspective, his attack vector was really unsophisticated. He relied on social engineering and basic financial manipulation. Against a target with advanced cybersecurity training, it was doomed to fail. Maya smiled at her daughter's analytical approach to their family history. "You're absolutely right. But Luna, most people aren't trained to detect systematic deception in their personal lives. That's why Dad's approach worked on other victims. That's why your foundation is important. You're teaching people to apply professional security thinking to personal relationships." "Exactly. The same way we protect corporate systems, people need to protect their personal systems." Maya's foundation had grown into a $50 million organization, helping thousands of people annually. The Maya Protocol was now taught in law schools, business schools, and computer science programs worldwide. Current statistics. Foundation impact. 12,000 victims of family financial fraud helped. Legal precedents. 47 court cases using Maya's methodology. Corporate adoptions. 200-plus companies implementing family financial security programs. academic integration, 85 universities teaching relationship fraud detection, professional recognition, Time Magazine, 100 most influential people, 2029, MIT Technology Review, Innovator of the Year, 2028, Presidential Medal of Technology for contributions to cybersecurity and social protection, 2030, Personal Metrics, Maya's compensation $2.1 million annually as Google SVP, Luna's Education Fund, $1.7 million and growing, family stability 100% secure and optimized, system performance, exceeding all projections. David's current status. David had been working at a call center for 4 years, earning $31,000 annually. He lived in a studio apartment and took public transportation to work. His attempts to rebuild professionally had been blocked by background checks and his criminal record. He saw Luna once monthly for supervised visits. Their relationship remained distant but civil. Luna was polite but uninterested in developing a deeper connection with someone who had tried to destroy her family. "Do you ever feel sorry for him?" Luna asked Maya one day. "I feel sorry that he made choices that destroyed his life," Maya replied. "But I don't regret that those choices had consequences. That's how systems maintain integrity." Ashley's final update. Ashley had been deported to the Philippines after serving her federal sentence. Interpol monitored her activities due to her history of international fraud. She worked at a call center in Manila, earning approximately $200 per month. Her attempts to rebuild in the tech industry had been permanently blocked by her criminal record and deportation status. "What happened to Ashley teaches us something important," Maya told Luna. "People who build careers on deception eventually run out of victims who don't know their history." Epilogue. The lesson for every woman. Maya's story had become more than personal triumph. It had become a blueprint for women facing sophisticated relationship manipulation. Standing before her final audience at the International Conference on AI Ethics, Maya delivered her closing message. "Ladies, I want you to understand something fundamental. The same analytical skills that make you successful professionally can protect you personally. You don't need to be vulnerable in relationships. You need to be strategic." She clicked to her final slide, "Trust but verify, even at home. The people who truly love you will respect your boundaries, celebrate your success, and support your independence. Anyone who responds to your achievements with manipulation, theft, or sabotage is showing you who they really are. When someone shows you they're willing to destroy your life for their benefit, believe them. Then use every skill you've developed to protect yourself and build something better." Maya looked out at the audience of brilliant women who reminded her of herself 10 years earlier. David thought he could outsmart a woman who builds AI systems for a living. That was his fundamental miscalculation. Don't let anyone make the same mistake with your life. You have more power than you realize. You have more skills than your attackers expect. You have more options than they want you to know. Use that power. Protect those skills. Exercise those options. Build systems that protect you. Build relationships that enhance you. Build lives that fulfill you. And remember, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's becoming so successful that your enemy's opinions become irrelevant. The standing ovation lasted 7 minutes. As Maya packed up her presentation materials, Luna sent her a text. "Watching the live stream from school. You're my hero, Mom. See you tonight for debugging session." Maya smiled, looking out at the Seattle skyline through the conference center windows. Somewhere in that city, David was probably finishing another shift at the call center, returning to his studio apartment alone. And here, Maya stood, having built a career, a foundation, and a family legacy that would protect generations of women from the kind of betrayal she'd survived. The system had been hacked. Maya had debugged it completely. Status permanently secure. Performance optimal, mission accomplished.